Okay, so we're looking at 2.2b, solving and graphing inequalities. This should help you finish the backside of 2.2. So this is kind of in addition to those notes that we took yesterday. So they take it a step further. Yesterday we were talking about multiplying and dividing, but the day before we talked about adding and subtracting. So right here, we would solve this example just like this. So you're going to solve a inequality just like you would do something with the equal sign. So I'm going to draw the line down it just like we were on our other thing. And that, it just happens to be a dot. I think it's because it's a bad copy. So how would I solve for y? What would I do? I would subtract 2 from both sides, okay? Once I subtract 2, I have y left on the left side, and then I would drop down my sign, which happens to be greater than, and 12 minus 2 is 10. Okay? So, y is greater than 10. Okay, we do this for an application reason. They're saying that y is greater than 10. So what's a number greater than 10? 11. So if I plugged in 11 for y, I would say 11 plus 2 is greater than 12. What's 11 plus 2? 13 is greater than 12. Is that true? Yes. So this statement, okay, so this makes the statement true. So somebody said I thought it was 10. This statement is saying that y is greater than 10. Okay? So that means y is bigger than 10. So we have to put in something bigger than 10 to make that statement work. Okay? So let's look at this one. This one is a little bit harder. It changes things up a little bit. Okay? So I'm still going to draw my line. Now what am I solving for? N. Okay? So n is over there, but so I'm going to move the 8. I'm going to move the 8 first. Okay? So how do I move this 8? What would I do?
Add 8.
Well, it's already positive, so what's the opposite of positive 8?
Negative.
So minus 8. Okay? Minus 8. Now, I'm going to show you something. It leaves us negative n over there. Okay? If I drop down my sign, and then 31 minus 8 is 20. Nope, no. 23. Sorry, 23. Okay, 23. So, I can't have a negative variable. And right now I do, right? Okay, so I have to get rid of the negative variable. So, really, this is equal to this. True? Okay, negative n is really negative 1n. There's really a 1 there, we just don't write it, right? Because n plus n is 2n. Right? Am I blowing your mind up?
Yeah.
A little bit? Okay, that's okay. So really, in all reality, n plus n is 2n. So negative n equals negative 1n. Because negative n plus negative n would be negative 2n.
This is confusing.
Okay, I know. I understand.
I get it. Wait,
Huh?
so look how many n's.
No, well, they're variables. Hold on. They're variables. Okay? So variables can represent any number that you solve for. Yes, sir.
So to be greater than 23.
Okay. Well, okay. I can't have, what I said before, I can't have a negative variable. So I have to get rid of it. So really, this is negative 1 right here, right? So that's technically multiplying by n. So to get rid of it, I would divide it out. So I would divide that side by negative 1. So what I do to one side, I got to do to the other. So that cancels that negative 1n, or negative 1, and I just have n, and then I have negative 23 on this side. But when I divide by a negative, this is the rule you're going to have to know. When I divide or multiply by a negative, I flip my sign. So it goes from a less than sign to a greater than sign.
Wait.
Okay, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, if I left it the same, if I left it as negative 23 is less than n, right? So that means n is greater than negative 23. So, for example, what's a number greater than negative 23?
24. 22.
No. Yeah, just a positive 22, right? Okay, a positive 22. So let's put that in that equation. 31 is less than 8 minus 22. I'm doing the wrong way. Give me a second. Give me a second to finish explaining, and then I'll answer questions. Okay, so what's 8 minus 22?
14.
Negative 14, right? 31 is less than negative 14. Is that true?
No.
No, right? So if I leave my sign this way, see how I left it that way? It makes my answer not true, right? So if I go back to the original one, 31 is less than 8 minus, okay, a number is less than 24. So
22.
So we said negative 24 because that's less than negative 23, right? Negative 24 is smaller. So we would leave, change, right? 8 plus 24 is 32. So 31 is less than 32. True or not true?
True.
True. Okay. So I know it's all crazy and you feel a little bit confused. I'm just trying to show you the why. And so let's look over here and we'll slow down and just do the problems. Okay? So example 3, all positive numbers. Are you ready? So let's draw our line just like we have been. Okay, 2 and t are what? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Multiplying. So the opposite is to divide. So we have t is greater than 6. Simple enough, right? Okay. So example 4. Okay, D and 4 are what? Dividing. So the opposite is to?
Multiply.
Okay, now y'all can be writing down again. Okay, so the opposite is to multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. So we're going to cancel this. We have D is less than or equal to 12. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Example here. One negative number. Okay, now here's where if we multiply or divide by a negative, we're going to flip the sign. So we'll draw our line. Negative 5 and F are multiplying, so the opposite is to divide. Okay, divide both sides by negative 5. Okay, we have F left over here.
7.
And then we're going to flip the sign to this way. And it's going to be negative 7 because we multiplied or divided by a negative. You have to flip the sign or it makes it not true. Okay. So, and then number 5. Okay, what's happening here? Dividing by negative 5, so we're going to multiply by negative 5. So we're going to flip our sign.
25
is greater than. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, it's just a rule. So just like you do the opposite, the rule is if you multiply or divide by a negative, you got to flip the sign. That's the rule, okay? Okay, right here. Now we're going to graph these. So that's where we needed to get to. So right here, we're going to subtract 8. Subtract 8. So H equals 35 and it's greater than. So we're going to come down here and I'm going to make a number line and we're going to say, oh, this is 35 right here. 37, 39, 33, 31. And I'm going to put okay, here it tells us, open dot. It doesn't include that number. So we're saying H is greater than 35. Does it include 35? No, so we're going to put an open dot on 35. Okay? If the variable is on the left-hand side, does that make sense? So if it's on this side, so this is the left-hand side right here. If it's this way, we cannot follow this rule. But if the variable is this way, we can follow the rule. You shade in the direction it's pointing. And I think they told y'all that last year because we had some people say it in our first period. So we would shade this way. It only works if the variable is on the left-hand side. Okay, example 7. Negative 4 and E are what? So what's the opposite?
Dividing.
Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. We have E. We're going to flip the sign. 28 divided by negative 4 is negative 7. Okay, so we're gonna graph E is less than or equal to negative 7. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to negative 5, negative 7, negative 9, negative 11. Okay, this number includes, E is less than or equal to. So we're going to close the dot.
Wait, I don't get that. Change it to
Alright, so if it has a line under it, it's open. If it doesn't,
If it's this way or this way, we're open dot. If it's this way or this way, we're a closed dot.
Oh.
Okay? So we're going to be a closed dot.
Wait, can we go on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't finish that one. I'm sorry. And we should shade this way. Yes, sir. Okay, let's go over to example 8.